Now we know that, and it's all been finalized and made public, and it's on the pub website. The $100 million, but he told us at the annual meeting, many questions were asked. I haven't missed an annual meeting of Nalcor since they got formed. And at the last meeting, I recall correctly what he said. He said, well, the turbine and generator was about 2 or 3 years old. Now we learn the generator that we just paid $100 million for is 7 years old. Mm-hmm. And it's been stored in a warehouse in southern USA for the past 5 years. Now, during that 5-year period, this generator has been advertised around the world. I mean, seriously, around the world, everywhere around the USA and South America, etc., and advertised by a broker. And not one broker, but a number of brokers. It was advertised on the market through a broker, or brokers in this case, $23.5 million. That was the figure. And they went like this. We're asking $23 million or the best offer. And that's the same generator, the same model number, it's the same thing, identical, not identical, but the same one that was stored.
So they were advertising it for sale for $23 million, and yet we paid, by the time it gets to its destination in Holyrood, which is there already, some $120 million.
Well, at least $100 million. I don't know if it's going to be 120. We don't know what.
119 is the number we're working.
Yeah. What was approved for, allocated by the PUB. Yeah. Now, they couldn't get it sold, and then when recently when we wanted to get a generator for Holyrood, and the Nalcor Hydro people was familiar with this generator for some time, long before they purchased it back in April. And they knew about other generators were around. And our concern at the meeting, a number of us asked questions about what warranty was going to come with this generator, because it's not new. Well, at least 7 years old. And was there going to be a manufacturer's warranty? And I'm sure Mr. Martin said at the meeting, I don't want to say the man was lying or anything, he blurted out, I guess, but he's on tape on the Nalcor meeting, and I saw it myself afterwards. He said, well, yeah, there's going to be a 2-year warranty with this generator. Now we find out that there's no manufacturer's warranty on this generator. And we could have bought a new generator from Mitsubishi or even from the manufacturers, the people who manufacture the generators. We could have got a new generator from Siemens for about less than $50 million, which include a full warranty, manufacturer's warranty, which would be at least 2 years, and they would be shipped to the place to be installed, and to be installed. It would all come out less than $50 million. So the question that got to be asked by me, at least, I don't know who else is going to be asking questions, but I'm asking a question as a taxpayer, ratepayer. Why? Why did we go down, Newfoundlanders and Newfoundland organizations, go down and pay so much? Why did we deal with a company that we knew, they knew, I didn't know, but the Nalcor Hydro has confirmed publicly, they knew the same company, Pro Energy, was under investigation by the U.S. authorities, including the FBI, and for different things, one of them being bribing officials down in Venezuela. But that's a different matter, a different issue. But it's now made public they weren't, and they are being investigated. So, and Nalcor Hydro knew this, but he still went ahead and dealt with them and paid $100 million plus. So I'm saying today, this is not good enough. I mean, the organizations we count on, in this case Hydro and Nalcor in particular, they had to be prudent with our money. They don't go out wasting money if it's not needed to be done. So the question mark of who got the consultant fee of $1.8 million is still pending. Who's the original owner of the generator? I mean, Pro Energy is only a brokerage firm. Did they get the title to that generator to be able to sell it again? Or were they just being paid a brokerage fee? I guess they went away laughing down there when they came along with $100 million from Canada to buy the generator. At the same time before that, they were offering it to the public through the means of the advertisements, etc., of $23 million. These are the kind of questions that have got to be answered. There's no question in my mind. They've got to be answered. The only way I see it being answered is to for the PUB to have a public hearing on the thing. And I'll be asking from my perspective, and I think, well, it's really easy to get a hold of PUB, to get a number 726-8600. Anybody can call them and make their own suggestions to taxpayers, ratepayers in this province. I suggest they do that and say, let's get a clearance, total clearance of all this picture. What's going on here? Why are we paying all that money for something we know is not worth it? There's no reliability on it. There's no warranty on it. And it hasn't been inspected. And that's what really bothers me. At the annual meeting, and I quote Mr. Martin in a question about the inspection of it before we buy it. That was back before we bought it. He said there was a deep inspection of this unit while it sits down in the warehouse in southern states. You know something? I saw the inspection. Well, I think it's not now on the PUB website. I saw the inspection. It was a visual inspection. Nothing more than a walk-around visual inspection. How could we count on something to be reliable to us, to supply our power in the wintertime in particular, when there was no inspection done, there's no reliability here, yet we're paying all that money?
They're reasonable questions. While you're speaking, I am crafting a very direct and specific email list of questions regarding this generator, and as soon as I get a reply from Nalcor on this, I will either, one, have someone on to answer the questions up front, live on the air, and or I will read off the reply I get from Nalcor regarding the purchase of the generator, and that's all inclusive, whether it be the inspection, the aforementioned advertised price of $23 million, the manufacturer's warranty, the specifics of the generator, the specs of the generator, and comparative models that could be bought brand new from Siemens or otherwise. So I'll get the answers.
Yeah, well, I know you can, because you're a man of that type. You can demand the answers for your program, and rightly so. But I'd like to see some explanation coming from Nalcor Hydro. I mean, they're the ones directly involved. He left the impression at the annual meeting things were different from what we know now. And why was that done? I don't know why it was done, but it was very deceiving to the public at the meeting. I haven't missed an annual meeting of Nalcor since it was formed. And I listened very intently, and I asked questions. I did the last time. Why were we sort of deceived with these kind of facts put forward by Mr. Martin? It's not good enough. I'm not saying anybody lied. I'm not leaving any accusations on anybody. No, I'm not doing that. But all of this dealing with this energy company, Pro Energy, a brokerage firm, we know what happened to the brokerage firm on the bad fuel oil. We know what happened to that, all that problems it caused up in Holyrood. There's a brokerage firm again then, now another brokerage firm. And I'm saying, who's getting the money? We're not getting the value. Where did it go? And why can't there be a public hearing on the whole thing and people call in under oath? Because the PUB, as you know, is a quasi-court. They can call in people under oath and get the answers for all the people to know what's going on. It's not good enough. I've said for day one, so I'll leave you by saying, I think you said it to an extent. There's too much secrecy in Crown corporations like Nalcor. There is. And there's got to be change. Now, whether any of the PC leaderships get involved in it, or the candidates, or the Liberal Party, something got to be done to stop this secrecy of a Crown corporation that spends our money without any prudence.
I'm going to get the answers.
Okay, sir?
Absolutely. I appreciate your time this morning, Jim.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So there you go. We know full well, because I've already heard from representatives of Nalcor on one specific issue today, and that's when I made reference to the power purchase agreement. My point on the power purchase agreement is absolutely it's on Nalcor's website, and you can read it, and I think it's also on the PUB's website, the document that is the PPA. But my point was, if we are going to have this as part of the political spinning, then I'd like to know how much the politicians on all sides, and specifically the PC leadership candidates, who one of them will be the Premier of the province in a month or so from now, I'd like to know what their understanding is of the PPA, of all the intricacies of it. Backloading of the finance, and the actual cost of electricity, whether or not the 1 to 2% annual increase is what we can expect. All of those things, I think it's important for them, if they understand it, to be able to spell it out in layman's terms to the public. When it comes to the generator, I know they're listening. I did indeed just send in the question to Nalcor during my conversation with Mr. Morgan. These are legit questions. If we have a generator that was listed for sale at $23 million and we paid more, why? Where does it come from? What was the inspection? What's the manufacturer's warranty? What other generators were considered? Describe the tender process. Was it lowest cost option available? Was it all about the type of fuel? What are the specs of this particular generator, so that we can all do our own analysis if people see fit? They're not untoward or illegitimate questions being posed by Mr. Morgan, and we will get the answers. So those of you at Nalcor listening today, if you can respond either with a guest live on the program and or a specific detailed email reacting to Mr. Morgan's questions, who are also echoed by many other people around the province, we would appreciate that, and I think it's important.